Thank you for staying with us. Thanks to Mapito Sibidi for the AM News. Time now for us to tell you what's making headlines in the newspapers and online as well. Joseph Akable is right here in the studio. Benjamin Akapo will be joining us via Zoom to do the review. Good morning to you, Akable.
Good morning, Mavi. How are you doing?
I'm good. Did you have a good weekend?
It was great. I attended a friend's wedding.
Okay.
Yeah, it was very nice. He was my colleague in high school.
Ah.
Yeah, he got married over the weekend.
Nice one. Listen, I hate to ask when you're doing it, but I have also heard you complain about the fact that all your friends are getting married.
Yeah, I mean, for some strange reasons, everyone is getting married, but it was a nice event. I mean, I was very happy for him. I think I showed you some of the pictures.
Did it make you want to settle?
Say again?
Did it make you want to settle?
Oh yeah, it gave me a reason to think about marriage and everything again.
So you're thinking about marriage now?
Yeah, I am. It was a beautiful ceremony, but I mean, I'm also informed that marriage is beyond the beauty of the occasion of the day, and so I'm looking at it from that holistic approach instead of the one-sided excitement of the day. But it was great. More importantly, because I got the opportunity to meet my colleagues, some I've not met close to 10 years now. So it was good to meet them once again and interact. And a good number of them watched the show too. So I mean.
Oh, so let's say good morning to all of them. Those who are making you think marriage today. And of course, your friend who got married. What's his name? Bright
Nyako. Yeah. Okay. Congratulations to him again and the wife getting married over the weekend. He's done very well.
Yeah. We wish you well in your marriage. Enjoy it. All right, let's do the newspapers. I've got the Daily Graphic newspaper front page. COVID-19 fight yields results. President encourages continuous mask wearing. Zero active case still targets. And one of the things he said yesterday in that address was the fact that the Kotoka International Airport, since reopening, had seen over 30,000 tests, and out of that, a little over 90,000 came out positive, though all asymptomatic. And the conversation about why not opening up the entire country is also coming up strongly following that address. But I guess one of the other issues is the university, the tertiary institutions not going till next year, 2021 January. But we know that some of them are actively in class online. And they thought that this address at least was going to open up the universities for them to physically go to the classroom, but it doesn't look like that's what is going to happen. Well, obviously from the president's address, that isn't going to happen. But would what they're doing online counts though? Because it looks like we will have a different academic calendar.
Yes, especially for the public universities, because the private universities are the ones that have currently opened and doing the classes online. So the public ones, some are yet to reopen. So that leaves the question of what happens to the academic calendar if they don't get on to start the first semester. So it means that they will not be in sync with the other institutions as well. But I mean, we are still looking for some additional details. I heard the information minister afterwards saying that government has not actually stopped the universities from actually reopening. I don't know how that flies in the face of what the president had said, that they remain closed until January 2021.
Yeah. Let's do the center spread of the paper. There's a news feature and there's a conversation that we're having on poverty. There's a bit of it's in the center spread of the paper. The world is currently witnessing the tremendous magnitude and speed of collapsing economic activity and social degradation like never before in our lifetime due to the novel coronavirus pandemic. This is indeed impacting negatively on effort towards achieving the global sustainable development goals, which Ghana has adopted as its minimum set of national socio-economic policy goals to achieve by 2030. There's a lot more on it, on attaining SDGs under COVID-19 pandemic. We will be talking about poverty eradication. We know that the situation of the pandemic has made it even harder with the targets that we had. And according to the World Bank, COVID-19 posed as an unprecedented threat to development growth in sub-Saharan Africa. Its estimated growth to decline from a 2019 value of 2.4% to between 2.1% and 5.1% in 2020. Ghana hasn't been spared. We'll put the spotlight later this morning. Then there's also this one, Africa's mobile phone population growth in 21st century. By 2024, the mobile industry will contribute $184 billion to the continent's collective GDP, bringing to the 9 to 10% of the total GDP. But in terms of the mobile phone and how it is penetrating, well, it's actually seen a serious growth, if you like. There's a bit of peace in the center spread that I thought I could just rush through, but not possible right now. So let's do the back page. Stanbic Bank donates to Savlugu Kumbungu flood victims, and then Upper West launches fire prevention campaign. That's what's on the back page of the Daily Graphic newspaper. From the Daily Graphic, we move to the Daily Guide, and Joseph will do that.
The front page of the Daily Guide this morning, it says NPP picks a slain MP's wife from Mfansteman. That's a photograph of Ophelia Hayford, and 6 arrested over MP murder, also on the front page. And plot to kill MP exposed, Cutlass knives check found. You can find details of that story on page 3 of the Daily Guide. The back page has this story about Champon grabs brace on birthday, and Kotoko pays tribute to Opokwe Friye, also on the back page. And Jordan is COVID-19 positive. That is Ghana striker Jordan Ayew. He becomes the 3rd player who participated in a Ghana-Mali game from the Ghana camp who was tested positive. And there's one Bernard Mensah and another gentleman as well. And Real Barca in shock defeats, also on the back page of the Daily Guide. But there's this story I saw on page 3 of the Daily Guide. It says Legon lecturer's killer dies. One of the suspects being held in connection with the gruesome murder of Professor Emmanuel Bene of the University of Ghana has died. We are told that he was in custody. He died at the police hospital in Accra on Saturday. And so he is the main suspect who was said to have confessed to the crime and named other individuals as his accomplices. We are told that he was unwell. He was taken to the hospital and put on oxygen at the intensive care unit of the police hospital, but died after some time. And so that is the latest in this particular issue. So coming from the Daily Guide this morning.
Not good at all. I guess for those of us following the story and trying to get justice and a resolution, we'll see how his death will affect the ongoing case. Let's say good morning to Benjamin Akwakpo, who joins us, and he will do the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Ben, good morning.
Good morning, Mama V. Good morning, Joseph. And let's get...
Hello, Ben. We lost your sound there. We can't hear you, so we'll just give you a minute to restore.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
can you
we can hear you now. But I'm wondering
Great.
why you're in the mask since you're alone.
Well, this is the bit. I have company, but yes, I should take this off. I actually...
No, but you're taking the president's advice, which is very good. Because the president was encouraging you to continuously wear the mask.
That was a slip of mind. Good one. Anyway, so I'm going to do 3 newspapers, actually. The Ghanaian Times, the Daily Dispatch, and the New Palava. And very quickly, it says, President warns against careless attitude, targets 0 infections in the country. That is the Ghanaian Times newspaper. That is something I'll be talking about, later when we get into the details. NPP Yape Kusogu, parliamentary candidate, 2 others die in car crash. This is becoming worrying. And indeed, he's been buried already. Then transferred voters, proxy voters lists compilation scheduled for October 20 to 22. So that's in a few days. Then beware, Kaneshio Doko Highway becoming dangerous. And photos there of the deplorable nature of the road. Then let's move on to the Daily Dispatch newspaper this morning. It says, can Zaneto Rawlings win Clote Cole's seat again? That's a question there. Of course, you'll have to contend with the NPP's Prince Deborah, who means to give her a run for her money. There's also a Fenyo Markin to retain a Futu seat for the NPP. And then NDC will not accept flawed elections. Former President Mahama warning. This is not the first time he's issued such a warning. Some see it as a threat, and we only hope that come election day, these will not be blown out of proportion. Finally, I'll go to the Palava, the New Palava newspaper. It says, respect yourselves. Otumfuo warns politicians ahead of elections. Ghana in a state of insecurity, 50 days to elections. And it also talks about the Opuni Agongo trial, evidence of 4th prosecuting witness in tatters. It's interesting, though, the spelling of tatters there. The newspaper completely gets it wrong. So Just something there to take note of. These are the papers I have, Mama Fi.
All right, let's follow that up with the Business and Financial Times. Front page of the BNFT, Tema Akosombo Railway, GCA eyes increased transit trade, extended road life. It says the Ghana Shippers Authority is eyeing an increase in transit trade with neighboring landlocked countries, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, with construction of the Tema Akosombo Railway projects. This morning, as Fred Esiedu Date, head of the freight and logistics at the Ghana Shippers Authority, speak to the paper. And I saw this over the weekend. Really, really impressive. I was surprised that work was still, strongly ongoing. It will be really good when that project is completed. In the center spread, land encroachment, the dynamics of an ongoing experience. Well, two features here. There's another one celebrating the critic, service implications of employee customer criticisms. These are two stories, features in the center spread of the BNFT. On the back page, Israeli Green Innovation Competition opens. MTN Group named most valuable African brand worth $3.3 billion. Also, government settles prolonged $203 million inter-utility legacy debts. Details of that on the back page. Details of all of that in the Business and Financial Times newspaper today. Joseph, do you have another paper to review?
Yes, I'll do the front page of the Finder newspaper. The front page here says, government to hold national conference on implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, and passport office relocating from October 20 to 23, and cocoa board set to inject $200 million into local cocoa processing. That's according to Dr. Opoku. A voter transfer, proxy voters slated for October 20 to 22, and NPP confirms Mrs. Ophelia Hayford as husband's replacement. And there's this story also about government settling a $203 million inter-utility legacy debt, also on the front page. And so that is it for the Finder newspaper this morning.
Let's do the last paper, maybe two. The Republic Press and the Economy Times. The Republic Press first, front page. Mahama predicts chaos in election 2020, says flag bearer of the NDC has doubted the possibility of the general election being held without chaos. According to him, the Jean Mensa-led Electoral Commission has failed to build the consensus needed for a credible election. You can read the rest of it in the paper. Also on the front page, beg Amase or forget Akwetia seats, Kennedy Japan tells NPP. That's the Member of Parliament for Asin Central, who's directed all executives of the NPP in the Akwetia constituency to, as a matter of urgency, visit the residence of the party's current MP to ask for forgiveness. According to him, that is the only recipe to ensure a resounding victory in the impending December 7 elections, or they risk losing the seats. Also, tertiary institutions to go back in 2021. President announces details of that in the paper. You can check it out. There are other stories in the paper, by the way, that you can take a look at. There's on the back page, Asamoah Gyan apologizes for verbally assaulting Websoft Solutions CEO. This story is on our page, myjoyonline.com. It tells you there's actually audios attached and the video of him, apologizing to his fans for some of the
I saw a video of him speaking, and I was wondering whether he had spoken to his lawyer before he was making those comments. He was saying, I didn't touch him. I mean, assault need not be touching. You put someone in fear of impending danger. Yeah. And if you listen to the audio soundbite, the gentleman is speaking and says to him, shut up, and we hear all sorts of things happening in the background. I mean, I'm wondering where this is going. It's a very sad development that what happened is to happen. Yeah. And this is not the first time the Gyan brothers have been involved in such a controversy. I remember the gentleman's name, Daniel Kenu of the Daily Graphic. I mean, he said that he had been slapped, and the matter actually, they were put before the court, and eventually the state, for some reason or the other, decided to abandon the prosecution. And then there were talks about how some money at the exchange hands and everything. We couldn't confirm all those stories, but we've heard the CEO of Websoft Solutions say that, I mean, he's not a hungry person, and so since he has been dead, he will ensure that it goes through the process. I
was so disappointed when I listened to the audio, and you must go to myjoyonline.com and follow the story from the beginning. You'd see how the gentleman in the middle of this, the Websoft's man, recorded. This was an audio recording of what had happened, and nobody stood with him. That was my disappointment. Nobody, not even the person who apparently invited him to the game.
They were actually telling him, the gentleman who had come under threat, to rather calm down. But of course, this is just a recording of a certain part of the whole event, and once it goes through the process, there will be better evidence put before the court in terms of what had actually started and where it ended to that point. But the audio is very distressing. I wasn't impressed.
I don't know, Ben, if you've been following this issue as well, of the Jan brothers.
Yes, I have. And I have some thoughts on this. I think we may have to get our own in-house lawyer, Samson Anyanene, on the law to deliver something on assault. Because it appears a lot of people don't understand assault. They think you must lay your hand on the person. In fact, when you threaten someone, when you put that person in a certain state of mind that is very apprehensive, you're assaulting the person in a way. And that is exactly what happened in this instance. I am not speaking for, the law courts as the man has decided to take up the matter. But I also found it very unfortunate, the sort of language that was used. In one of the interviews that Asamoah Gyan had, supposedly with his PRO or something, he speaks some Ga and says it was regrettable that he used such language. But I think for someone who has, risen to the heights that he has, Black Stars former captain, general captain, he claims he still is the general captain. It was most unfortunate, a very bad example to set. And I think he and his brother should be very ashamed for what happened.
Well, we'll see, how far this matter would go, but you can go to myjoyonline.com. We ask that you go to myjoyonline.com. Let's also not forget that these are all allegations, so we'll keep you updated. We're commenting based on what we have heard has been reported. Any other stories? Benjamin, you said you were going to go through some stories in the Times.
Yes, so one from the Times and then another one from the New Palava. But the Times, I'm going to page 12. It says, COVID-19 update, President warns against careless attitude, targets 0 infections in the country. And just in summary, it talks about yesterday's 18th address by the president. And it talks about how he is intimating that to successfully manage the pandemic, the nature of the virus, which is unknown, must be taken stock of. And he talks about the continuous observance of the COVID-19 safety protocols remaining the surest way of defeating the pandemic. I am in total agreement with the president on this matter, but here's my concern. Only last night, Mama V and Joe, a statesman, an elderly statesman in this country, called me. We had an interaction, and one of the things he bemoaned was that he had been at a function, call it a wedding, in recent times, and he noticed that a lot of people were not observing the protocols, especially the mask-wearing protocols. And it appears we've got to the point where we are taking these protocols for granted. We think the virus is gone. We think we've got it at bay. We haven't. Other countries, even more developed countries, when it comes to healthcare and the management of such crises, are suffering second and third waves of the virus and all of that. We here, we do not even have such systems, and we cannot take any risks. But another point I want to make is this. The politicians themselves, those at the helm of affairs, the ministers, the members of parliament, the president himself, there are times when we've expected him to be in a mask, when we've not seen him in a mask. So is it mere talk, or are they willing to walk their talk? That is my main, question this morning. If you remember the NPP's parliamentary primaries, what happened there? If you remember what happened in subsequent events, both with the NDC and the NPP, if you look at the terrain now as they've gone out campaigning, you would see that even our leaders, the politicians, have thrown the protocols to the dogs. So when Mr. President says this, yes, I agree with him, but I'm taking it with a pinch of salt because they themselves are not observing the protocols.
I think a rule that is being disregarded these days is no mask, no entry.
Yeah.
I've seen it in some places. You see no mask, no entry, and you put on your mask, you get in, and you're the only one in mask at the venue. It's amazing, and I think Benjamin makes the point rightly. And what's important is that it's not just an issue of the president; it's an issue of all of us, every one of us. I mean, it's important that we try and ensure that the gains that we've made in our fight against COVID-19, we don't deteriorate and have the second wave that others are experiencing. For now, the borders is doing the checks, but how about the general population?
Yeah. On that note, let me mention, I told you, gentlemen, that I was in Akosombo this weekend. And before you enter Akosombo proper, as in the VRA-controlled Akosombo, they've got this impressive check that you will do, whether you're a private or commercial vehicle. So they've got their COVID team to do the temperature check. They would give you the sanitizer and ensure that every person in that vehicle is wearing the mask. If you're not, they won't allow you entry. So this is even before the main check where they've got the security personnel, the immigration and the military before you enter that zone. And I was absolutely impressed. After that entry, some of their places still had the COVID team on standby to do their checks. And I thought if we were all doing this like Akosombo is doing, the VRA Akosombo, we would not be worried at all. They are not I haven't heard that they've recorded numbers of COVID-19, but this is what they're doing, and they're doing it rigorously. And I saw it on Saturday, saw it on Sunday. I was highly impressed. I'm not sure. I mean, we've got a law, right? So if somebody's not wearing the mask, the police must arrest. I haven't heard of any arrests.
The police themselves are often not in the masks. That's the whole bit. In fact, an interesting story I can share with you. A friend of mine, a media person, got apprehended some months ago. It was night. She got stopped. She was driving, and the police were not in masks. And guess what they asked her? Where is your mask? Yes, that is what they asked her. And eventually, sorry to say, they took some local fuel before allowing her to go. Something for the boys. At least that is what she told me. So it looks like
for not wearing the mask.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Well, let's spend the rest of the time, running you through the stories on myJoyOnline.com. So here go with what's on our website. MPP NDC trade blows at Bono East Deputy Youth Organizers Burial Service. This is one of those stories that Charlie. And this was at a funeral, and this whole fight was who carries the dead body for it to be buried. That's what we're talking about. And then that one too, there was NDC MPP.
Absolute bedlam, absolute madness. I mean, I can't.
All right, there's a playback of the president's 18th address on measures taken against COVID-19. I thought yesterday's address was rather short. Ghana not experiencing the second wave of COVID-19 means we're doing something right, according to our president. EC announces dates for transfer proxy voters compilation. I am shocked by on death of Iyape Gusegu parliamentary candidates. Over 2 million students benefiting from school feeding program, according to the president. NDC is a thread that holds Ghana together, according to the flag bearer of the NDC. Also, government to maintain 3-day PCR test period for travelers, according to the president. If you don't want to watch the video of the presidency, you can also click on this and read the text version of it. MyJoyOnline.com's got you all covered. Real quick, let's see what the BBC is also reporting on their page this morning. Italy tightens rules after COVID cases surge. That's what other countries are experiencing, that fortunately we're not on this part of the world. Also, votes counting underway in Guinea's 10th election. Red wine, the meaning of African election symbols. Well, that's interesting. I hacked the man who murdered my father. It's a very touching one. You might want to read if you have time. There are other stories on the page that you can take a look at. All right, guys, I think we've got about a minute for us to wrap up. So, in ending, any other stories that you want to quickly highlight? But
Mama V, on the BBC, you skipped the football part. Aren't you a fan of football? This is where Joe and I would have a field day.
I don't want to rub it in. I don't want to rub it in.
The West Ham Tottenham incident, and then Van Dijk, going for that surgery. Those are very interesting bits there. But Joe.
Yes.
Akabile,
yes.
What do you think about Tottenham netting 3 goals in the first half and then in the next half just going bonkers and allowing West Ham to, come back? Lanzini's final last gasp goal was just something else. Did you see that coming?
I was just thinking about what Mourinho's reaction will be. It would be crazy after the game.
His face? He was fuming.
He's going to get so upset with his players. I was so scared for the players. I was just like, how do you do this to Mourinho? And, after watching the first half, I thought that Tottenham, they were back. I mean, they had Gareth Bale on the bench, and I thought that they were going to do well. And, the team is now back on form, only to concede 3 goals. And I'm like, goodness, that was quite unfortunate.
Are you guys talking about a 4-1 win, though? Oh, I said I'm with Leeds, right?
Leeds.
So we're playing today.
We're with Leeds. You see, you got out.
When Manchester United wins, you become a Manchester United supporter.
Well.
Maybe my heart is there, but my mind is with Leeds. Maybe.
Mama V, I've always been a Red Devils fan, and I will be a Red Devils fan till I enter my grave. That's just the way it is.
Listen, guys, I didn't watch the Arsenal game, but did you guys? I know that Arsenal lost, but how did Partey perform?
Well, you were seen with less than 10 minutes. It was very brief. It's not. I don't think it's enough time to judge, but they should stop. They are putting too much pressure on the guy. I heard some song that Donye had done. They should take their time. But even in the Ghana team, Ghana Black Stars, that he's not. You know what I mean.
Massa, it was a record signing, so nobody would take their time for him. I've got a birthday dedication though before we wrap up. Happy birthday to Caesar Abagali of the Ghana News Agency. You are in wise from your wife Adrina and your children. Messages, we love you and stay blessed always. So Caesar is the regional manager of the Ghana News Agency. It's his birthday today. You watched the show, so you're watching the show right now. Well, happy birthday. We join your family in celebrating you today, Mr. Abagali of the Ghana News Agency. Enjoy the day. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Mama V.
All right. Stay with us. Aweko Ampofo will be bringing you all the highlights of the matches that you missed over the weekend. We've got sports coming up next.